All right, so I'm Bob Nesse. This is part of my property. What we're doing here is building my home, probably my home for most of my life, if not the rest of it. I'm doing this because where I live, the price of a home is pretty prohibitive if you're looking for land as well as a nice house. So for me, the only way to attain those two things together was to build my own. So that's what we're doing here. The property is 10 acres. The house right now is just a pit with some concrete foundation walls. So I am not a professional carpenter, construction manager, anything like that. I went to school for mechanical engineering. I have a master's degree in material science and mechanical engineering. I worked as an aerospace engineer. After that, I opened my own winery, and now I'm building my house. I have been doing this kind of working on houses, doing do-it-yourself kind of stuff since I was a teenager, maybe before that with my parents, both my mom and my dad, and I've built a structure with the same materials that I'm using here for my sister. Yeah, so what we did this week was we hauled about 7 or 10,000 pounds of gravel, laid down our grade, our bed for our drains on our footing. We installed the footing drains. We had them inspected, and now what we're doing to kind of finish off the week, in the last day or two, is tar and painting the outside to seal the foundation walls. After that, we're applying a product called Miradrain, and then probably backfilling and getting everything to grade next week.
So this is the day that we were pouring our foundation walls. You can see Damien there in the orange. He's manning the pump. So prior to this, we had the foundation, or the footings for the foundation, poured after about a day and a half of setting up. They removed the sheathing from that, built the frames up for the foundation walls on top of them, measured it out. They made sure that everything was square, built according to plans. At this point, they're just doing the pour. We didn't have to wait for good weather or anything like that because we're not pouring a pad. The whole process this day took about 2 hours, maybe less. The pump truck itself was honestly pretty impressive. That thing pushes concrete about 40 meters, I think, complete length. The thing was huge. Just building the area for the pump to come in and sit was an ordeal in itself. Well, here they're basically getting the top of the concrete foundation up to a level at which they had marked out before the pour using a series of nails in the form. You can see them here in this clip. There's nails poking out just above the concrete. They kind of just nick it at the bottom of the nail. They went in by hand and made sure that the concrete was level to those nails, just to make sure that at the end of the day everything was level. Here's the couple of days after they had come, removed the sheathing. This is what my completed foundation looks like. So after a few days and removing the sheathing, this is what the final product looks like. This is the completed foundation. You can see we've got all the straps, tie downs, and bolts for securing our Lincoln blocks later on.
So we're at Riverside Sand and Gravel, a couple miles from my place. We're getting recycled concrete chunk to cover our drains, or to make a bed for the footing drain in my house. We're just waiting for the loader to come and dump it in the back of the bed, and then we'll be out of here.
So here you can see a small part of the honestly miserable and long process that is laying out the base for our footing drain. We're working in the Pacific Northwest. Everything here at this time of the year is muddy and wet, particularly on my property. It has been extremely wet. So this for us was just days of shoveling gravel into buckets, walking it out to where we needed it on the foundation, and dumping it out to make a layer of gravel for us to lay our foundation drain.
Well, what I'm up to is I just have stuff sticking out of the foundation wall. I have nails and tabs that were used for holding the form together. And I keep getting hung up on them, particularly the nails, so I'm just cutting them off, so I don't have to deal with them anymore. These I'm probably going to hit down with a hammer, but nails I'm cutting. Yeah, fun, kind of all over the place. But yeah, for these I'm just and the only reason I'm doing this is because the delta drain, or the equivalent that we're going to be using, sits flush against the wall. And if I have all these tabs, they'll get in the way. Alright, do you want to be trench guy or boot guy?
So right now we're starting the prep work to lay out our drain for our footing. These series of pipes here are going to make up the span of the drain that runs from our house down to our dispersion field. So what that is it's basically just like a big hole of rocks that during a stormwater event, be it a storm or all the runoff from our roof and through our footing drains will run down into this dispersion trench and get dispersed back out into the ground. Here we're laying our pipe next to the trench, mostly because getting in and out of the trench, because it's so wet with the sucking mud, is pretty difficult. So for us it was easier to lay the pipe next to it, just so that once we get in we don't have to come out. We're using a fast setting wet dry PVC cement. It works pretty good, and we got this done in less than a day.
And all the downspouts from the roof will go through this as well. And we just need to get it installed, and then I plan on backfilling over this and making like a road, and my septic line is going to go through here too. But this is just drains for like stormwater. What's missing from the supplier is T's for the PVC. The downspouts from all my roofs need to go down to the footing drain somehow, and how you do that is with a T.
Okay.
So we'll put a T in, and then a pipe will go up, and the downspout from the roof will come and meet that in a catch basin or something. But we just don't have those, so until later today.
What you're seeing here is basically like a catch basin, or kind of a combination of a catch basin and a clean out. So all of the footing drains are going to feed into this culvert before they go out through the solid drain pipe out to the dispersion field. The point of this is that if ever there's a stormwater event or extended rain periods where my drain is getting swamped, I can use a sump pump or something to help make sure that my foundation isn't getting flooded.
There you go. You gotta keep really towing down here. Stop pushing. You good? Yeah. piece. Oh man, this is... So what we're doing right now is we're preparing for our footing drain inspection, which is tomorrow. So we're putting in drains at the footing of the foundation. The point is so that when it rains, or just because we get a lot of groundwater here, basically we're taking water away from the wall and draining it downhill from the house, so we don't get anything soaking through the wall or flooding the area around our foundation.
What's been the biggest problem from doing this?
Mud. Definitely mud. But overall, this has not been that bad compared to some of the other stuff we've had to work with. Yeah.
So here we're starting the process, or somewhat of the way through the process, of applying an asphalt emulsion to the outside of the foundation wall. It's a mixture of bentonite clay, water, and asphalt. It basically just works as a barrier, an impermeable barrier for water. It's approximately the texture of chocolate pudding. It's about as easy as painting a wall with chocolate pudding. It took us about a day and a half to get it done, and then on top of this we're applying a sort of egg carton type impermeable barrier that drains down to our footing drain.
So we're doing this first, and then over the top of that we're using a product called Miradrain, and between the two of them it should help make sure water doesn't come in through the concrete. And once the cloth is on, the drain is on, we'll probably do gravel on top of the pipe, and then we can backfill.
So here you can see me talking with the inspector. He's out here to check our footing drains. We have to call somebody out from the county for just about every step of this process, at least the ones that the county is looking for. So that includes things like our footing drain, our rebar in our foundation, through stuff like insulation in the basement, electrical, plumbing, everything, every step of the process.
So today we're putting a product called Miradrain onto our foundation walls. The point of it basically is to put another barrier between the water on the outside of the house and the foundation wall itself. So we've got foundation wall tar that we put on the day before, and then Miradrain on top of that. Here we're fixturing the Miradrain onto the foundation wall with a tool called a ram set. So it's for nailing or fixturing into like concrete or metal. Basically it's using like a 22 blank to drive nails. Like that.
All right, thanks for watching. Tune in next week where we're finishing our drains and hopefully we can move on to backfilling.